Yes, we're live on Facebook. Oh my goodness! As our little promo said, back like we never got deported. Did you get deported?
I got my papers.
Yeah, okay.
I walk around with my papers.
Suddenly, that passport card comes in very handy.
Hey, I got a blue passport, baby.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the Yard Sign. I even kind of forgotten my usual intro. You know, it's like, but man, we're back. Florida's original political podcast. Johnny Torres with me as always, Anibal David Cabrera. And along the way, we're going to be adding some new characters and voices to this program, and bringing back some old ones as well. So we're excited to be doing this. As you might expect, you know, I don't want to kind of go down that path and that topic that's been, you know, just done over and over again, but just in light of recent events, you know, we certainly felt motivated to bring back the show. We took quite a long hiatus, but I think we needed it. We needed to kind of look at the show with fresh eyes, and so there's going to be things that we're going to be trying out, and there's going to be, again, some new kind of different angles and elements of the show along the way, and so we hope that you will join us and rejoin us for those of you who've been fans since 2019.
It's been a long time.
That's so crazy.
It's funny. I was thinking about it today that like last year during the height of the election cycle, some of us went to the convention, some of us went to the inauguration, and even then that didn't motivate us to really start this up again because we were kind of in it.
Right.
And having conversations every single day. And then when the incident occurred, and we just had to reminisce of like what has happened in the past, and like this has become such a serious thing. Like, you know what, we should get back on this wheel.
Right.
And again, we needed a time off. We did 100. I didn't even realize we did 191 episodes.
Crazy. I mean, honestly, if I'd realized that we were that close to 200,
we would have done it. The OCD in us would have.
Yeah. It's like, God, all right, 9 more. Let's just crank out 9
Pump
more.
it out.
Yeah, seriously. But again, you know, sometimes I think it's good to take a break, you know, and then truly evaluate, you know, what was the value? What did it mean to you? What did it, what role did it play in your life? You know, but again, like just a lot of things have happened in the time that we've been away, and, you know, not that we need to skirt around, you know, around the topic, but yeah, Charlie Kirk's death or his assassination had, I think, also a significant role in it kind of reigniting the conversation between us.
Yes.
Because whenever we'd run into each other, we'd be like, oh, we should start it up again. Yeah. And that was usually the beginning and the end of the conversation. But I think we needed that kind of renewal, that sense of purpose renewed in us as to why we were doing this in the first place. And I mean, I get asked about it all the time. Hey, how's the podcast going? Which isn't, you know,
indicative.
Well, it's not. So thanks for watching.
Well, it was a lot of people.
But no, we did get people asking about it.
People were asking about it because the political cycle had started again, and we were asking if we were going to get back into it. And honestly, we were like, we're kind of more focused on helping the campaigns than anything else. So it was that kind of situation of where that was going to happen. And I think we're now in a position that we've kind of stabilized in ourselves, that things have stabilized in the country. Well, it was stabilized in the country before. And if we feel that we should bring this back, we have an idea of bringing more people in here and having more time to be able to really give this more of enjoyment. This is something that we enjoy. We really enjoy it.
Well, and to a lot of people, honestly, I mean, when it's not to stroke the ego, but to a lot of people, they felt that we were having an impact, that we were bringing something to the table that nobody else really was. I mean, there isn't that I know of. I mean, there's radio shows and out there and that sort of thing, but I don't know that there's a podcast like ours out there. You know, especially demographically.
I mean, we were talking about the Hispanic vote years ago, and we already knew ahead of time that. And again, we probably should have started at the height of last year during the election cycle, but we already knew that there was going to be a wave of Hispanics moving in that direction. We've always had these conversations of that. It wasn't going to be a bloodiness when it comes to Hispanics in rural and border cities. Like, they know what's happening on day to day. They don't need someone from Washington telling them that there's no migrant situation, when of course there's a migrant problem happening.
Well, and what's funny is that when we were doing our podcast was right on the cusp of this explosion of podcasters and influencers in the conservative space who now have almost all completely moved to Florida. I mean, because you talk Benny Johnson, you talk about your buddy in Pinellas, David, right? Who's now working for Congresswoman Luna.
Yep.
We've got Ben Shapiro. These guys have all kind of moved here to Florida. Dave Rubin, now lives here in Miami, or near Miami. Even those that were like non-political, but are now like, I'm a big fan of Sage Steele, former ESPN broadcaster. Now, like, she's not really conservative. I guess maybe a little bit. Her podcast is great. She's a fantastic journalist. Also has moved to Florida, and so it's funny because we kind of were like, well, we were here before all of you,
And yeah, we're doing this for the fun. We're not doing this for careers. We're enjoying what we're doing. And we have these conversations all the time with politicians and with people. Again.
And just you and I. We'd be having this conversation even if.
All the time. No matter what. We're just, now it's on paper.
Exactly. Yeah, we just got a camera in front of us.
Yeah, no, nothing can go wrong with this.
So the other cool addition, as you haven't noticed, is we got a producer, which I'm excited about.
Yes.
And we certainly miss our previous producer, who's working hard, just in a different capacity.
She's still in your life.
Yes. But again, she's helping in other ways.
Yeah.
But now we got producer Patriot Mike. I'm gonna call him Patriot Mike.
Nice.
And what's funny is the whole Patriot reference isn't even political. He's a huge New England Patriots fan. I know, but it's hilarious because everybody's going to think it's political.
I'm not going to call him that. I'm sorry.
Patriot Mike, come on now. That's cool.
I'm going to pretend it's for patriotic reasons, not for
there we go.
An incorrect lineage of football.
Well, and to protect his identity, we won't reveal his career because he's young. We don't want to ruin his career before it even gets started.
Oh my gosh.
So Patriot Mike is going to be behind the ones and twos. Helping us run the program here. So, all right, let's jump into today's show. We've got our beautiful graphics here. We'll give producer Mike a minute to find his way. But we're also going to be introducing, aside from the political topics, we also want to bring in pop culture. We want to talk about what's happening because, again, I think we've kind of fell like too deep down the rabbit hole, and obviously nowadays everything's political, even pop culture, right? So we're going to start off today's show with the biggest announcement of, I would say, the last week, which is Bad Bunny being announced as the Super Bowl.
You said his name wrong.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
And this is coming from two non-Puerto Ricans.
That's right. Yes. The Puerto Rican that was supposed to be here did not make it today, but he'll be maybe with us.
Shocking that the Puerto Rican didn't make it. Ooh, this is going to get bad fast.
Oh, I like it. I love it. But he will be joining us. We'll leave his name undisclosed for now, but we do have someone that's going to be joining us on the show on a regular basis, along with another friend of ours that's also been on the show before. But again, we want those to kind of stay surprises, and you get to know them as they come on and join the show. But Bad Bunny, named as the halftime Super Bowl performer, thanks to Jay-Z and Rock Nation. We'll dig into that. Of course, also, we'll take it up to New York. Why not? Zoltan, like the old fortune teller game, Mamdani. No, we know it's Zohran. But
we're not going to say it.
No. We're going to talk about that whole situation up there and what that's looking like. And then, of course, we'll keep it simple today. We're going to dive into, at the very surface level, the kiddie pool level of the Florida governor's race. For those of you who are plugged in, you kind of already know what's going on. For those of you who are not plugged in, this will be a nice primer for you to kind of give you an idea of what is going on and who the players are and where we are as of right now, because it's gonna be an interesting one.
It's gonna be beautiful.
As always, Florida politics, never a dull moment. So thank you again for joining us on the Yard Sign, whether it be on YouTube. Please subscribe, like, follow us on Facebook as well. And we also got to bring back the X account, which that's out there. It's just
it's in the ether.
It's just it's also been taking a little break.
Again, I'm not allowed to have more than one social media platform.
Oh, I know.
So it's the wife's.
I know. I have to send all the TikTok stuff to your wife.
I don't. The tiki talkies. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Look, China does not care where you live.
Am I allowed to speak with a Puerto Rican accent? I don't know if that's appropriate or not. Will we get banned?
No, who knows?
Who cares?
Deported, maybe.
Yeah.
Back to Puerto Rico.
Back to Brandon.
Back to Brandon. That's right. And actually to Kissimmee, if you're Puerto Rican.
Why, mama? Okay, we're going to get in trouble. Let's move on.
Oh, man. All right. So, big announcement, and honestly, my initial reaction was probably as confusing as Benito's sexuality. Like look, because from a Hispanic perspective, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like very cool. Like when Shakira did it, when she did the World Cup, I mean, it's just, there's a sense of pride there that, hey, your people up on the biggest stage in the world doing their thing, right? I don't listen to reggaeton.
Did you have that same pride when Jennifer Lopez and Shakira did the Super Bowl in 2000?
For Shakira, yes. Not for J-Lo.
And I think that's
she's terrible.
People, wow, shots. It's the Puerto Rican bias.
Speaking of right,
and I think people are not understanding how much of a. I don't know why Republicans are so upset about this. I get it, but this is something it's not necessary. It's the Super Bowl. Did you get upset last year for Kendrick Lamar and the bullcrap that he said there?
No, because they didn't understand it.
No.
They didn't get it.
And they're like, oh, this is for the people that are at the Super Bowl. No, the Super Bowl is a bunch of rich white people that actually attend the Super Bowl. It's never been about them and their entertainment. It's about entertaining the rest of the world.
It's a marketing ploy. Okay, because, I heard a crazy number, but apparently Roger Goodell wants to expand the NFL's international presence to, I think, over 36, is it 36 games, I think, that they want to reach?
Wow.
International games.
Well, we already do Europe. We have Canada.
Right. Yeah, but right now we're at what? Patriot Mike, we're probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not that, there aren't that many international games.
No.
But these games are brutal for the players.
The travel is too much.
Yeah. Jet lag.
Crossing the pond is way too difficult.
Yeah, not so bad in our hemisphere. But I mean, because they were stoked to go to Brazil.
I think it's easier to stay in our hemisphere.
Yeah, of course.
6, 7. Okay, that's where it's at.
Yeah, because the jet lag isn't the same.
Correct.
Because you're not crossing the time zones.
You're in the same time zone if you're going south. It's not that big of a deal. And at the end of the day, the populations are somewhat similar. I mean, I was doing the research in regards to the Hispanic population. It's almost like 750 million Hispanics around the world. And I don't see it being an issue where having Bad Bunny as the artist. It's not that big of a deal. Does he have negative connotations when it comes to the president? Yes. Does he have issues when it comes to ratings and rights? Yeah. But again, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No, but that's where it's been really interesting to watch because the black community is pissed because Jay-Z and Rock Nation, they're the ones calling the shots on this.
Who have been doing this for years now.
Yeah, and they've been doing a great job. Like, again, I couldn't tell you a Kendrick Lamar song, if you were literally playing it for me in that moment.
Yeah.
Did he put on a great Super Bowl halftime show? Absolutely. Did Rihanna do a great job with her Super Bowl? Absolutely.
Gaga did.
And
absolutely.
Again, most people did not comprehend the political message behind Kendrick Lamar's performance. I think it would have been much crazier if they had. But again, it went over most people's heads. Even I watched YouTube videos that kind of had to break it down and all this stuff because there was a lot of political imagery that was intended for a particular audience.
Correct.
And that is Kendrick Lamar's audience. That being said, again, Bad Bunny has, he pushes the boundaries of, again, his sexuality, fashion, I mean, the guy barely speaks English.
So he speaks English. I literally heard it before. He's done it on SNL.
No, yeah.
There's
he's been on the
there.
Tonight Show and
but
stuff.
also at the end of the day, he's lived in Puerto Rico almost his entire life.
Right.
His story is honestly going to make a great movie one day.
But he's a true Puerto Rican, not along what we're normally accustomed to.
He's a true Puerto Rican that did not move out of the country into the United States. Because a lot of people don't know this, is that the Puerto Rican population has a very special connection when it comes to the United States as being a colony or being a overseas commonwealth, overseas territory, where you're not an American citizen when you're living in Puerto Rico, but the moment you travel to the United States, I think you just file the right paperwork, you're automatically a citizen.
Yeah, and you get the blue passport.
So it's not that big of a cross, which is why I think it's hilarious that he's the one that's fighting the ICE and immigration and everything else, when I'm like, your entire population of the island becomes American citizens. You guys were pissed off with Cubans because of their wet foot. Was it the wet foot, dry foot? And a lot of Hispanics were upset about that. And then I'm like, but Puerto Ricans have it even better when it comes to the immigration status.
Well, and that's where there are Puerto Ricans and other Hispanics that are mad at him. Yeah. Because apparently he's very hypocritical on political issues, in terms of like advocating for like kind of socialist or communist type ideas. Again, multimillionaire, probably close to being a billionaire at this point. Certainly after the Super Bowl. Also, he advocates for independence, like Puerto Rico, to be independent of the United States. So he doesn't want statehood. And it's like, dude, you wouldn't be where you are if not for the fact that that statehood exists.
Correct. Also, he's only worth $50 million. So let's calm down with the billion. He's not everyone. Oh, he's a Taylor Swift. He's not a Taylor Swift. That woman has.
He's international. He's definitely international.
Well, because he started more international with making his big hits in Spain and everything.
Latin America, yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think people forget that he is more of a streaming artist. Yeah. He started in 2016. He was bagging groceries at that age in 2016. Right. And the fact is, it took 3 years for him to become the international star that he is right now in regards to when he really started topping the charts, which again, it's great. He's been around technically for a while now. Mm-hmm. It's been almost a decade. And so I love the trajectory of his career. I think it's been great for him. I love the idea of having more voices and more artists and everything else. And do I agree with his politics? No. But I think we wouldn't agree with 90% of the artists that we like now.
Exactly.
So I don't know why it's become such a thing. And our guest that was supposed to be here but isn't was really much to the point of like, this is just something that Republicans are shooting themselves in, because if we wouldn't have said anything, then no one would say anything.
Well, and again, the directive from Roger Goodell, I'm sure, to Rock Nation and Jay-Z is that we want an international audience. And again, like, other than Taylor Swift, like, who else are you going to put out there right now?
At this moment, I couldn't think. I was thinking it was going to be the wifey thought it was going to be Taylor Swift, especially now with the engagement and we have that whole situation.
Although if the Chiefs would have ended up in the Super Bowl, then it'd be like major conspiracy theories.
I don't know. I will say that the Swiftie Nation was prepared to watch. So like, if he was more focused on getting girls to watch football, I think
the ticket prices would have been insane.
Again, it's just a bunch of rich white people going to the Super Bowl.
Well, and what is it like?
Now their wives are going to go.
60-70% of the tickets go to corporate sponsors anyway.
Yeah. And these people have been going to the Super Bowl their entire lives, so it's not that big of a shift. But again, it's for the audience. So I think the move from focusing on girls and women into football and now focusing more to international, I think you're right that that's probably what's occurring now, and it makes sense logistically. And again, I'm probably going to watch, and my people are going to watch the halftime show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Right. We're going to be able to rely and listen to it and hear the language, everything else. I really don't call him by Bad Bunny, nor do I call him by his government name of Antonio Martinez, blah, 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 blah. I call him Tio Rosa from his character from SNL when he was there. I thought he was hilarious, and they did a great job.
Which, crazy enough, they're going to bring him back. He's going to be back this Saturday, I think.
He should. Yeah. Again, I don't have.
Why should he though? I don't think he's that big.
I think he.
I mean, he did well.
He was hilarious on SNL. Absolutely hilarious.
But if you know the way SNL works, that was only thanks to Marcelo Hernandez, who is from Miami.
Yes.
Hispanic, and wrote sketches for him.
He's Dominican and
Colombian. No.
No, I think it's Dominican.
Oh, Cuban or something. Or
The only reason why I know this is because he says a joke about his dad and his mom when they came to the island, and so his mom was like, "Oh, this is a land of opportunity," and then his dad's like, "This is a land of opportunity with the women." So he's like, his mom is from PR, his dad is from DR, and of course there's a divorce. And so like it was that argument, but I think this is touching more of the Hispanic community's internal conflicts with each other.
Sure,
because you're having a situation where a lot of like, I don't know, a lot more Caribbean people are going to know who he is. Not as many like continental Hispanics are going to know who he is as much when you go to Central America and South America. I think probably not as many either.
Well, look, I'm so out of touch even with hip hop and pop. And like I'm at that age now where I don't keep up with any of that stuff anymore. That I don't know any of his musics. I couldn't name you one of his songs. I know he's on a bunch of other people's songs.
He did a lot of collabs in the beginning of his career. I don't know much about his current. I've never listened to his album face to face. So like I don't know much, but I know he's in the ether. I know he's in the community. And again, having these women on The View or like listening to what's happening on the podcast, I'm not surprised they don't know who he is because that's not the audience.
Yeah,
a woman from Bakersfield is not the audience that they're going after.
Yeah.
But New Yorkers are going to know who he is because he did a whole thing where he drove around the Bronx or something on a big like 16-wheeler and was blasting the concert, and like people loved it because but that makes sense for New York. Yeah, that doesn't make sense for the middle of like in the middle of the country.
No, and I thought that the like short residency that he did in Puerto Rico was really smart.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think the I'm sure the economic injection, impact that had must have been huge. Yeah. Because I know people even from here, and obviously we're in Florida, but I know people even farther out who flew to Puerto Rico to go to this show.
I don't think I'm almost positive I've never flown into Puerto Rico. I don't plan to ever go to Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, there are like 12 other like islands I would rather
My
go
cruise ship just happened to stop there. Okay.
I don't think my cruise ship has ever stopped there either.
And it was nice for all of the like 3 hours that we were there.
I stayed on the boat. Honestly, I would stay on the boat. It's again, this is a Dominican, Puerto Rican like conflict that's always lived, and so you have these communities that
I don't have anything against Puerto Rico. I got family
because you're from you're from the continent. So why would you? You have no issues with
I have extended family, supposedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's going to be great. I think the show is going to be great. Will it be political? Of course, it's going to be political. Yeah. Am I gonna boycott the Super Bowl because of it? Depending on who's playing, honestly, is going to be the reason why I watch or not.
And if the like cross-dressing thing were like a normal thing for him, I'd say okay, maybe he's going to try to pull something like that, which I wouldn't put it past him to do it, at the Super Bowl.
But do I think he's going to be making out with a guy in the Super Bowl?
Right,
no.
Exactly. But again, those are the kind of things that people are like, this is why he shouldn't be doing this show. But funny enough, when we were show prepping the other day on the phone, like they criticize him about cross-dressing. They criticize him about his sexual ambiguity. But it's like, dude, we lived through the 80s.
Prince was the main...
Prince, the whole 80s.
I have no idea. I wish Prince was still around because I thought he was amazing.
Hold on. I got to share this story with you. Okay. So literally this happened to me on Saturday. No, I'm sorry. Happened to me yesterday.
You were wearing a dress?
No. That was on Sunday. Okay. No, I got my daughter, Valentina, in the car. Yeah. And I've got my 80s playlist going. And we were just going somewhere nearby, and she, she likes to kind of keep track of the music that we listen to, and she goes, "If there's a boy singing, why is there a girl on the picture? Because it has the album.
Yeah.
It has the album cover. You know who it was?
Who?
Boy George.
Boy George."
And I told her, I go, "Sweetheart, that's a boy.
Yeah,
it's but that's what they did back then. The hair and the makeup.
No one was talking about Lady Gaga's sexuality in 2017. No one was talking about. No one wants to talk about Katy Perry in 15. Bruno Mars has always been funny about that. Madonna. Oh, I remember Madonna in 20.
Bruno Mars did a great job.
Yeah. Again, these people have done a great job, but I don't think there's a need to be so. Prince was in 2027.
That to me is
2007.
That between, of course, him and Michael Jackson. To me, those two are and it just, I have a hard time picking which is which, but to me those were the two best Super Bowl performances ever.
It was amazing. And again, I'm going through, Gloria Estefan won 1999. I think people and people keep on saying, this is going to be great for the Hispanic community. We've already done this multiple times. How many times does Ricky Martin have to go out into the American Grammys and say, the Latins have come into the building? How many times does he have to do that? I remember watching, I think it was the Grammys where he did the big performance, and everyone's like, the Latins have come into the building, and now that's happened like 12 times.
He's been doing it since he was in Menudo.
I know. It's not that, I don't think
he's been doing it his entire life.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think Republicans are shooting themselves in the foot. They're building.
Well, it's stupid because he's an American.
Yes,
practically.
Which is what's funny about this whole situation.
Yeah. Well, it shows again because some of them are legitimately ignorant about the whole Puerto Rico situation. And again, we don't know what he's going to do. It's just.
Oh, we know what's going to do.
Let music be music, and let's see what happens.
There's going to be a big poster with ice and like a cross out of it. It's going to be something stupid.
You think so?
Now that. If he was smart, he wouldn't do anything of that. Yeah. He would just let the music play. He would be that professional and have a big Puerto Rican flag on the back of it. And I think for Puerto Ricans, that's actually quite normal. Like, I doubt he even has to buy additional flags.
It's like ketchup. They just put the flag on everything.
It's everything. It's better than the fake flag. Actually, wait, is it the Puerto Rican flag that's fake comparative to the Cuban flag?
Oh, I don't know. They're
one is flipped over.
They're inverted. Yeah.
Again, it's a cultural thing. I have Dominican heritage. My dad's Dominican, so I went to a very Hispanic church, and even at church, you could see the divide between people sat where their countries were. Like,
that's funny.
It was bad, and it was our people and it's our culture, and that's how we.
Well, I mean, again, if you look at Miami.
No one likes the Patriots. Like that at the end of the
day. If you look at Miami or even Orlando, or heck, New York, I mean, but that's just naturally, I think, what we do. Like as a people, we're going to gravitate towards areas where we feel comfortable and we're around people that we feel comfortable with. And so again, Miami is fractured itself that way, where now like Doral is Venezuelans,
yes,
and like Weston and Pembroke Pines is Colombians, and and then of course Little Havana, that's Cuba, and Hialeah, it's Cuban. So I mean, it's just, I think that part is in our nature.
But again, I think people think that this is just a Hispanic situation. Yeah. No, the Anglo-Saxons had this when the turn of the century, when a lot of immigrants from Italy and from Germany were coming in. And like even in Tampa, we have a German center. We had, because the community was so big that they have an Italian center. And that's how it was. Now we have something different when it comes to the new set of immigrants coming into the country. But I think people are trying to make this into a bigger and bigger thing. He said he didn't want to tour the United States because he didn't want his people attending his concerts to be afraid for ICE and everything else. And I thought to myself, majority of your people are probably Puerto Rican, which means that they probably have their paperwork correct, which means they're American citizens. So I don't know where this is coming from. So, and I get it I understand what he's saying, but at the end of the day, I also think it's pathetic and it's a little sad. And I would love to have an conversation with him in regards to Puerto Rico's statehood or getting off or becoming its own country, which I would love to be its own country, because I have a bias of not wanting to change the flag and the number of stars.
That's going to be rough.
I'm not buying new flags.
Although I will say, apparently they've voted numerous times now for statehood, and our Congress has been the one to
stop it,
to prevent that from happening. And honestly, I think we just need to bite that bullet and make it happen.
I don't think it should be a country. We've had this argument before. I don't think it should be a country. I don't think it should be a state. I think it should be its country. I would rather get what's that one province in Canada? Really, it should just become more of Idaho or something like that.
Oh my God.
I think Florida should annex Puerto Rico, and then I'll go to Puerto Rico, because then it'll be just another like, oh, let's go to Miami. Well, it's already Puerto Rico. So like you just keep on driving down like down the Keys, and eventually you get to Puerto Rico. I
don't know. I mean, again, I didn't get to see a whole lot of it, but what I did get to see was nice. I'm
glad the power was on when you were there.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it did remind me a lot of like coastal Colombia, which I've been to plenty of times. Again, in terms of like the businesses and the atmosphere and the culture and all that. Again, very, Spanish colonial,
Which again, become your own country. do what you got to do. We'll probably still be paying for your aid. So it doesn't
yeah, exactly. But I hope, just to kind of wrap it up on this point, I hope he doesn't make it like super political. He's going to do something political. I just hope it doesn't overshadow the performance as a whole. I mean, I enjoy part of me, as much as I love politics, like I just want music to be music, and I just want art to be art. Well, you know what I mean? And
the Super Bowl shouldn't be political to begin with, so that's already an issue. Yeah. And now,
which a lot of football players are speaking out about that. You know,
they don't like it
on other issues, but they're speaking out about the politicization of football.
We should have something to where everyone can just chill and have a good time and watch a really good Super Bowl halftime show. Which I am excited to see what he's going to do. Right. I hope he makes it more like him with the artists and everything else. I don't think it's going to be. I hope it's not super political, and if it is, we'll talk about it. But let's move on.
All right, let's bring the topics back up again. There, Patriot Mike.
Let's remind ourselves.
Thank you again for watching the Yard Sign. Again, you can find us. We're going to be doing this Thursdays now. Our previous time was Mondays, but we're going to be moving it to Thursdays. We're going to be shooting for 5 o'clock, but of course we always run on Latin time, so stand by.
No comments.
And of course, we were just talking about Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl. So let's get into Zohran. Mamdani.
To give you a better idea what's going to happen, we're purposely not going to say the name correct because we're not going to put the effort because it's New York, honestly.
I know. What are you going to do? I mean, look, the guy, they're already saying he's got about an 84% chance of winning this thing. It's going to be, and this is where you realize how big this country is, because these ideas, aside from internationally and historically, these ideas have been tried, not only in this country, they've been tried in other countries. They've been tried by other governments. This is what he's spouting off is nothing new. All right. And what he's going to do is he's going to destroy small businesses with, his like grocery store ideas. He's going to raise taxes. The billionaires who are already practically living in Miami are just going to continue to move to Miami, possibly full time. You're going to see, I think, a corporate exodus in the ways that we've seen in California happen in New York, where you're going to see a lot of corporate headquarters moving out of New York. Miami is already being predicted as being the next financial capital of the world, because a lot of, especially newer companies, newer corporations are operating primarily out of Miami because of its access to international locations. And again, I mean, these guys think that these billionaires who they want to raise taxes on are just going to sit there and take it, and they're not. COVID proved that. COVID proved that if you take people's freedoms away, and if you take their means of living away, that they are going to find somewhere else to go and get it.
I have a different opinion in regards to this, because at the end of the day, you can say that for California, because the leader of the state of California and the legislator in California are the ones pushing this leftist high taxes, nothing over $5 million when it comes to a mansion tax. It's absolutely ridiculous. Whereas in New York, there is a difference between Albany and New York City. And so there's not as much of a taxation. It's not as much. Still super business friendly in regards to what's happening there. And New York, at the end of the day, I agree with this, it's more sticky than California. In California, you can move production studios to Ohio, to Georgia, right, to Florida. You can move comedy centers to Dallas, to Austin, to Nashville, but you can't do that with New York. You're not moving Broadway anywhere. You're not moving the financial capital anywhere. You're not moving Central Park anywhere. You're not moving the great stuff.
Well, Broadway is already hurting.
It's hurting
because of the crime levels. Because
it's also hurting because the demographics are changing of who actually goes to watch those things. Because there hasn't been a new sustainable Broadway show, I think, in the last 9 months that hasn't closed. Now you just have the long-term ones of like Phantom of the Opera and the other ones that have been going on forever that people bust themselves into the city just to watch because they like the nostalgia. There hasn't been anything really new. And even then, they leave New York and go touring immediately.
New that's worth watching.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think New York is a lot more sticky when it comes to things like that. There's still a fashion scene. There's still seasons. What's happening now is New Yorkers that can afford it are going to just buy a second home somewhere else. And
Right, but that's the thing. There's no manufacturing happening in New York City.
And that hurts. And that hurts the city when it comes to the poor and the middle class individuals that are servicing the upper class, because it's creating a shell of a city that you have these apartments that are completely vacant almost 90% of the year, except for the owners that live there. And again, they can live there because they're billionaires, because they really don't care what's going on. You've seen the exodus of people that, and you'll probably continue to see it, but you're not going to see a JP Morgan move its headquarters. They just spent $2 billion on a new headquarters. And I think with New Yorkers, it's a long-term play when it comes to living and working there. I do agree with you. Miami is becoming a much larger financial hub. However, there's no market exchange going to move to Miami. That's just not going to happen. It might move out of Central and South America to Miami, because me and you both agree.
Well, it could be established in Miami. I mean, look at what what they've done in Texas.
But that just happened. They've been working on that for 10 plus years.
Right.
I will agree with you that Miami is the financial, cultural, and probably political nerve of Central and South America, and it's been like that for a few years now. That to the point to where you have a lot of consulates in Miami, and you have a lot of additional political work that's happening there. However, I think what's going to happen with New York is they're going to see what's happening, and it's going to be 4 years, and they're going to move them out to somewhere else. And that's what New Yorkers do. They vote these people in, and it's stupid. I don't disagree. I think the ZO is going to make things even more difficult for New Yorkers.
I mean, the problem is that the real problems that they have, some of which have been caused by leftist policies, like rent control, for instance, is the one that he wants to implement.
The stupidest thing.
It's again, like the rent control causes the high prices. Because it's a supply and demand issue. And the problem is again, you can only go so far up, and they're already going up. But the problem is that anything that goes up is also going to be up in price.
Well, because that's the only way you can make money now in New York is when you're, as a developer, you have to build for really wealthy clients and really wealthy individuals, because now there's no profit. You can't build. Was it Trump's dad was building affordable housing back in the day because you could make money off of it, and now everything is so expensive because of all the red tape that Adams hasn't changed, the current mayor. And again, a lot of the stuff is you can't fix it within one term. You need 2 terms. But and again, I think the bigger problem is that New Yorkers allowed Andrew Cuomo to come back, which is insane.
That's nuts.
The man that was killing grandma and grandpa by sending them back to the home, the nursing home, and then you had hundreds of people dying, maybe thousands of people dying because of that, and he didn't pay for it. He paid for it. He got kicked out of office because of a sex scandal, really, that kind of fizzled after he left. And now he's coming back, and you're like, how on earth do you think this is appropriate? And there's not enough Republicans to push it back.
Well, and that's the thing. Sadly, he's the only alternative option.
You have Curtis, who's the Republican there, but
he's been seen as like a character of New York City for decades.
He is wearing a fedora.
No, of course he's been. He's been doing that shtick for 30 years.
Fedora.
Yeah, and the red jackets and all that stuff. Like, I mean, again, Curtis Lee has been in the New York kind of universe, of characters. Again, he was like one of those people that you just always associated with New York, like Trump, right? He was just one of these people that you didn't know why you knew who he was, but you just knew who he was.
You knew he was a Republican. The moment you see him,
I don't even think that's the thing. It's just the fact that, like, he's like, okay, like it's cute that he does his little kind of guardian angels thing, and and again, that's been his pet project for 30 plus years, but nobody is really taking him seriously. And again, like kind of like the problem that we have in the city of Tampa. Like, it's hard to find a legit, credible Republican to run within the city limits.
You really want to move into Tampa politics?
No, I'm just saying, like
the mayor's race.
Any actual true Republican is not going to put himself out there in the city of New York.
We've said this before. Every Republican in Tampa ran for mayor as a Democrat.
Right.
And
That's true.
That has been a normality from our biggest mayor that we've ever had, which is Bob Martinez, who then became, after he was mayor for Tampa, became senator and then became governor as a Republican. But he ran I don't know if he ran as a Democrat, but the majority of it, people that have ran for mayor and even city council were Republicans beforehand. And it sucks that that's what's happening, but that's how
Trump could have run for mayor of New York and he would have won.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Could have won. And I think, and we're getting even more better numbers from the state of New York. What's happening now with how more Republicans and more centrist and right-leaning individuals are voting for the Republican Party now with the whole redistricting and everything else is going to be fascinating. I don't want to get into that because that's a rabbit hole that we don't need to.
Right.
But I think it's going to get even better as we keep on moving in that direction when it comes to the Republican Party. And I fear that if we get this much control, we're going to start eating ourselves in regards to the internal fighting, which is why we kind of talked about Bad Bunny, because that's just stupid. And now that we're talking about the mayor's race in New York City, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect you.
Right.
And odds are we're not going to go back to New York because of his tenure. But
the reason it matters is because you're going to see some policies put into action that then Republicans are going to turn around and be like, see, I told you so.
And if they vote for him to become mayor, it just tells me that the Democrats have not learned their lesson from this last election cycle, and people are going to get even more upset with them because of the stupidity that they're doing.
Well, and honestly, this needs to be like, take the L, right? Because Mamdani's going to win, and use the time that he's going to be in office, whether it's one term, plan for one term, but realistically, you probably are going to have 2 terms, to find somebody on the opposite side of the aisle, like basically a clear and opposite answer to him, because that's what Trump was.
Yes.
Trump was a clear and opposite response to Obama, and I'll guarantee you that he's going to win.
I think what needs to happen is, and we've talked about this before, people that want to run for mayor in Tampa, people that want to run for mayor in other middle to large cities, get on city council.
Right.
If you don't have $30 million plus, $10 million plus in the bank, just become.
If you got 30, run for governor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
let's hold off.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Getting ahead of ourselves.
Then run. If you have $10 plus million, then run for mayor. But if you don't, and you need to build that upon yourself, go to city council, win in your district. We just had a district race in city of Tampa that we have the secondary election cycle coming in the next, I think, month or so.
Yeah.
But someone was able to win on one of 2 spots for that race with 2,000 votes.
Right.
2,000 votes out of a district of 54,000 registered voters. And what kills me every time, I'm going to say this because I don't care. What kills me every time is the Republicans couldn't get themselves together to get one candidate.
Right.
One candidate. And it was 4 Republican candidates, 17 probably candidates all together, and Republicans couldn't get it together. This was an easy Republican
If they consolidated those candidates down to one, they would have walked away with it.
We have said this so many times that the purpose of the chair of local government, local politics, is for these things not to happen.
Right. Because the problem is too,
if you have a weak chair, this is what happens.
The consultants, though, are going to fight back, and they're not going to. They're going to do everything in their power to keep their candidate in the game.
Oh, of course. But again, now no one's.
Yeah,
now there's no, because now.
But the consultants don't care.
I know, and that's why,
because they've already cashed the check.
But that's what annoys me every single time we have these conversations, is that we're going to have multiple Republicans. Well, there's no primary, so right there, it's a non-discussion right there. And 2, the only people that ever make money, win out of these things are the consultants, because now they have money and they don't care.
Yeah.
And it then hurts the local party, it hurts the local individuals, because now we're in a situation where Republicans could have easily picked up a city council seat.
Well, and if they're a good consultant, now they've convinced that person that they should run again.
Oh, yeah, they should. There's going to be other seats available.
That's right. And so now you got a nice little golden egg, and golden goose.
We have this conversation all the time. And again, we have been here long enough that we've seen chairs in the past consolidate. Yeah. They stick them in a room.
It's not fun.
They stick them in a room and tell them they're not leaving until they figure this out. Because this is what happens. Now everyone spent $20,000 to $50,000 on a race that could have easily been won with half of that money if it was just one person.
And we had people that, because again, it's technically nonpartisan, we had people in that race
Technically.
that kind of blurred the line. Like nobody kind of very ambiguously political. And again, nobody truly knew their kind of partisan leanings. And I think they could have won.
I don't care anymore. I just honestly, that broke me when it came to our local politics. And I was telling, because someone was asking if I was going to support. I'm like, I get it and I like you, but it's not going to happen because the odds of you winning are going to be very, very low, especially if we have multiple Republicans in the race. Again, someone could have gotten into second place with like 830 votes. That's insane.
Right.
That's an absolute inappropriate, and the fact that we couldn't get it together is upsetting to me. And again, and then you have within the Hillsborough County and the local chair and everything else, the majority of people that attend those meetings, which are now moved to another date, which I'm never going to be able to attend to, don't even live in the city. So they are arguing about policies and politics inside the city that they don't live in. So they cannot vote to begin with.
Right.
But yet they want to influence the vote on there. So like for me, I live in the city. I know a lot of people around me. We were probably one of like 10 Republicans in our district in Hillsborough County because we live in Seminole Heights. And we went out and voted. And come to find out that only 5,400 people voted. And it was like less.
Crazy.
I think it was even less than that, actually. I think it was like 5% of the total. And it's just upsetting. It's annoying because
But that's all the more reason why I think they need to consolidate the elections into, where city, county, state, federal, like it's all happening on the same day. You know what I mean? Because again, you're going to have this participation issue. So, we have it already, even with the federal elections.
Not with local elections. Remember, City of Tampa is like March or like.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But that's by design because Democrats know
it is by design.
That if they do it in March, like nobody's paying attention.
You know what? This should be a money saving plan that we move city elections to normal federal elections. So then we're saving plants by the.
Well, if we could get a Republican supervisor of elections.
That's a whole different conversation. You know what? We should have him. He will probably come on this podcast.
Didn't we have him on?
We had his predecessor.
No, I thought we had him on. You mean the supervisor, the current supervisor?
Yeah, the current supervisor.
Oh, no, I meant the guy who ran.
Oh.
The candidate. All right, we'll talk about that. Let's use that opportunity to switch over to our final topic for today and wrap this show up. Because, again, there's not really a whole lot to get into, but there is some interesting kind of, subliminal storylines happening here. But we're going to wrap up today's show with the Florida governor's race, the race to replace DeSantis. You would think that it would be a lot easier and more kind of black and white than it is, but it's not because, again, it's Florida politics. And so we, of course, had once upon a time a great relationship between our governor and the president of the United States. And we thought, hey, we've got a nice thing going here. Maybe like once Trump's done, then DeSantis can kind of, follow in his steps. And because DeSantis was incredibly popular, in between his two terms. And then Governor DeSantis decided to run for president.
A consultant decided
of course
for him to run for president.
And that, as you might expect, put him in bad graces with President Trump. And so supposedly they've amended those fences to a certain extent. I doubt that very much. But at least they're amicable, I think, to a certain extent, given that the president still resides in Florida when he doesn't reside in the White House. But it's bringing a lot of interesting dynamics into this race. Early on, we saw that the rumor was going to be that First Lady Casey DeSantis was going to be a candidate. And this was before anybody was being talked about. And weird, but I said, okay, that kind of sounds cool. Like that sounds, like that might not be a bad option, because you just never know who's going to come out of the woodwork.
Correct.
And she has done a great job and supposedly has been very influential in Governor DeSantis's
Lauren likes her
terms. No, look, she's done great.
Yeah.
The
story of her is phenomenal. I think it's a great conversation and a great story if she was not connected to the governor. I think that's where the problem lies, because then it feels a little nepotism,
right?
And people don't like that. And I think that, don't get me wrong, I would love to see her candidacy, and I would love to see what she would bring to the table and everything else. However, there's a I don't want to even. It just doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't.
It just doesn't feel right. And
I mean, again, it's we're not
a little nepo.
We're not the UK.
We're not.
You know, I mean, and I know you're an Anglophile.
Oh, if only.
Yes. You know, so
at least I know where France is. At least I know they know I know where France is.
But yes, I think that also kind of rubbed people the wrong way. Anyways.
And then they had the little scandal.
So there was a scandal with her nonprofit, you know, and it getting state money, and state money that was not being accounted for properly.
The right channels. Correct.
Right, exactly.
Which even we're probably not even saying the right thing, but it's enough in the ether that people assume that there might be something, but really nothing at the same time.
Right.
But again, it caused enough of a stink that people were talking about it. It was brought up a lot during a slow election season or a slow political times. Yeah. And so that kind of caught wind, and people were talking about it, and the governor was upset and made a whole tour about it. And I just don't think it didn't sit well with anyone.
Well, and then they didn't like kind of come out and say, hey, you know what, we messed up, or we, you know, like they didn't take ownership of it.
We're going to refile the paperwork.
Right. They got real defensive. Yeah. And like you said, kind of went out on an explanation tour. And in politics, as they say, if you're explaining, you're losing.
You're losing. When was the last time you explained something to your mother? That's the first thing I thought. If I have to explain my way out of something, I'm going to get a hand. Right. I'm probably already in trouble.
Well, that's exactly what happened. I mean, I think the people were like, oh, all right, she's done.
Yeah. So then we move into the next layer of the conversation, which then I believe Byron, Congressman Byron Donalds then goes in, and there's
friend of the show, Congressman Byron Donalds.
I love his rallies, and I love his story, and I've really been able to take time and listen to him and everything else. The wife also loves his wife as well, and so I think that has played into a great attitude. He is a man of color, of a distinguished individual in the finance industry, in the financial world, and then ran for Congress. Has won in Congress in a very, to be honest, in a very white district in Naples. Yeah, Naples.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so showing that he can win and everything else, he's on
beating out a lot of self-funded and well-funded opponents.
He was not the richest person in that race when it happened. And so now he's a junior congressman. I think this is like third or fourth term, and he's done great. I think it's a great transition now.
He's gotten a lot of TV time, you know, since Trump took office again.
He speaks very well and can defend the position
in a very and again, like kind of in a similar way, obviously very different, but in a similar way to President Trump.
Correct.
He's able to take a complicated issue and break it down into explaining it in a way that everybody can understand.
He was a finance bro, and because of that, that's what you have to do with a lot of your clients. And so now he's in a position to elevate himself even further and to become into the governor, which then could easily roll into the presidency. It's not that far of a stretch.
Well, let me just say this, because, and I know that there's people that will back me up on this, but I've been calling Byron our next governor probably for 15 years.
Yes, you have been having
and you know that.
I do know that.
Billy Mitchell, shout out to Billy.
Oh my God.
He also reminded me, he goes, you know what? Because we had lunch the other day, and he was saying how, dude, I remember when like 10 years ago, you introduced me to him and you told me he was going to be the next governor. And I was like, what? You know, and here we are.
Yeah. I think he's done a great job. He got the endorsement from the president, which is a really big deal in this situation, because we're gonna break down the state of Florida right now. That you have anything south of Alligator Alley, which is North Cuba, which we talk about that all the time, and then you have anything south of Sarasota as that like very Caucasian, very like older individuals that go across the state, and then you have I-4 corridor, which is just hell, honestly, sometimes when it comes to I-4, and then you have nothing but cow pastures all the way until Gainesville, and then you have very southern Georgia with the Panhandle all the way to Jacksonville. Yeah. So and I'm gonna be honest, to have a black conservative running for governor in the state of Florida, you're playing to 3 to 4 audiences at any given time.
Well, and the fact that he's young.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's experienced. He's qualified. He's well funded.
Yeah.
He's, he can articulate federal issues, state issues, because he's been there.
Yeah.
He's served in the state legislature.
Yeah.
He's served in Congress. Honestly, he's more qualified on paper than Governor DeSantis. You know what I mean? Because yes,
Now, if you would,
yes, now, right? Comparing now to his now,
Yes.
right? To when Governor DeSantis put himself as a candidate. Governor DeSantis also former congressman, but Byron, I believe, has served in Congress longer than Governor DeSantis, and Governor DeSantis never served in the state legislature. And having somebody again that has that federal and state level legislative experience, I think, is going to be hugely successful.
the resume is good, but I will say this.
Well, and has anybody else in recent history had that kind of a resume?
Honestly, Bob Martinez would be the only one I can think of that would that had that trajectory going to that level.
Yeah.
And then I think he could have even gone even farther if he wasn't in the 90s as a Hispanic. I think he could have gone even further.
Oh, sure.
In that situation. Now, in the world that we live in now, with the dynamic that we have now, I could totally see Byron skyrocketing into even higher office after this. So my conversation is this: I feel that the Byron committee should be focusing between the Panhandle and Orlando, and they're sweeping that whole area. You're going to get Tampa. You're going to get the
Southwest Florida.
You're going to get Southwest Florida.
That's his
people
territory.
Yes, from Naples to New Jerusalem, Boca Raton, and you're going to get all that. And I think he just needs to focus on the southern part of Florida to make sure that happens. Because the only other people that have come out to run against as another person is Speaker Paul Renner.
Okay.
And he's from what part of town? What part of Florida?
I don't even know.
I think it's like the northern part.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think maybe the Jacksonville area.
Yeah,
I believe.
And so because of that, that's where you're seeing where that additional.
Well, we love our Jacksonville people, don't we?
Why do you got to say it like that? I love Jacksonville over Gainesville. I will say that.
Well, I mean, there are other people, but again, at this point, I think they're truly. I mean, I think they are on the fence and they have no idea what to do because, Byron just announced this week not only a huge slate of endorsements from sheriffs all across the state, but he also announced that he's raised over $31 million. That is, a huge mountain to overcome if you think you're gonna take him on.
No, and that's where the funding comes into play. Yeah, because I think Mrs. DeSantis could have done it and could have pulled it off if necessary. I don't think. And now let's talk about the other person that's thinking about running that we all know who he is, and that's now the lieutenant governor.
Right.
And again, I think he's a phenomenal individual. I think he's a great dad. I think he's going to be a great politician and everything else. He served the country. He sacrificed for the country. Give him all due respect and everything else. However, I am of the opinion that he should not be running. He should not run for governor. I think it's too soon.
It's too soon. I mean, even his ascendancy, again, he went from the state legislature, one term in the state legislature, and then became lieutenant governor. Yeah. Which, hey, congratulations. You know what I mean? But again, let's kind of slow your roll.
I think he's going to do a great job. I think he'll do a great job. And then he can run for Congress.
Yes. I mean, because you don't want to burn out somebody like that just because they made the wrong political decision. Correct. And the truth is that governorship is where campaigns go to die. Yeah. And candidates go to die. Yeah. Because people who run for governor, typically that's the end of the road for their political career.
Yeah. I want him to run for other offices after the lieutenant governor's seat, because I agree with you. The moment he says he's going to run for governor, his future in politics is over. Because we already can see that. I think it's too big of a mountain for him in his ascension to be able to move in that direction. Whereas you see it on the other side, I don't think he can raise $30 million.
No, and honestly, the only thing he could potentially run for which he's already been down that road because he jumped in that race again early, and then ended up having to back down and run for the state senate, which was for Congress.
But we just talked about that. Like, you need to start, if you don't have $10 million in the bank, then you need to start your political career ascending small and then keep on moving, because that's how it goes. Unless you're Donald Trump or you have more than 10 million that you can self-fund, Rick Scott, then like you can't jump.
And we've just seen too many people, too many great candidates like burn themselves out, you know, because of what's the angel, you know, that flew to close to the sun. Yeah, it's like an Icarus effect. You know what I mean? Their egos were bigger than, you know, than the political universe was ready for. But had they just toned down that ego a little bit and said, you know what, maybe let me bump this down a notch and run for something at the local level rather than the state level or rather than the federal level, they would have easily won. They would have easily won, first of all. And then they would have ascended. I mean, look at, you know, again, you know, we have Michael Owen. Michael Owen wanted to be in the state legislature. What did he do? He won a county commission seat. Did great as a county commissioner. Honestly, I would have loved for him to stay a county commissioner. But
I think he has bigger.
You know, look, he's you know, he's a talented attorney. You know, he understands the legislative process. Tallahassee is where he wanted to go, and he probably wants to go farther than that, you know, but he's doing it the right way. He won the county commission seat. Now he won a state representative seat. He'll probably run for state senate unless, again, the planets align and there's a congressional seat that makes sense for him.
Which, again, you should allow yourself to be open and available for those congressional seats when they do run. Florida, I think, is going to get 2 more seats. So, like, it's going to, maybe even 3. So it's going to happen. And we all saw what happened with Laura Lee's seat. And so when that was created, and that's great. That's how Republicans should be running, especially for a state that's growing as fast as we are. And again, I love his family. I love his family. I love his wife. Love his kids. We know them very well. We've talked to them multiple times. I have not talked to him and given him my opinion, but I know others have, and it's the same opinion as mine. It's like, I don't want you to stop your political activity by running for governor.
And the Collins family, as you just said, you know, just to kind of reiterate, but slightly differently, they are a family of service. You know, Jay has served this country, you know, and has already given more than anyone should. You know, and equally his wife has also, you know, run.
She's sitting on a seat right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so, look, I love it because, you know, of course there are benefits to it. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, in terms of influence and, you know, financial opportunities and things like that. Let's call it for what it is. But at the same time, it is not easy to put yourself out there as a candidate, to put your family out there as a candidate. And then when you win, all the scrutiny and criticism that comes along with holding public office.
Less and less people want to get into the political realm because of the damage that occurs in your finances, in your personal, with your family. It just it becomes so insidious that it becomes such a problem. So we're not getting very good candidates.
But look at what happened with Trump. The minute he declared himself a Republican, happened?
He became a racist.
Right. Yeah. And he divided his entire fan base.
Oh, it was insane how quickly, from someone that was getting awards from the NAACP and the Rainbow Coalition and giving money to people and doing all that he did, and then it completely turns around because he's a Republican.
The saving grace for him was that he was such a public figure.
He has all the receipts.
Exactly. There's video, there's newspaper articles, there's, you know, magazine articles, you know, like there's countless hours of television.
Yeah, the Trump effect, I will also say, has made it to where politicians have to be polished from the beginning. It's going to be difficult. You don't, unless the moment you move into a federal or to a large state governor race, you have to be able to articulate your conversation, your argument, and then be able to take a punch and roll it off. Because you saw, and I will say, when Congressman Byron Donald went to the Breakfast Club and had a whole conversation there, and how easily it was for him as an individual.
He had them real quiet,
very quiet. And I don't think someone that was less. If someone went in there not prepared or not knowing what Breakfast Club was, then they would have got demolished. But he knew what it was. He knew how to talk to them. I remember watching that live, and I was like, this is amazing.
Didn't need hot sauce in his bag.
Oh. I can't stand that witch. I'm sorry. I'm so annoyed. Oh, if we would have had more.
Didn't have to threaten people's race, to gain their vote.
I can't.
I can't believe Biden said that.
I can't.
In the Breakfast Club.
I can. First of all, didn't even know where he was.
Dude, that's bold. I mean, beyond bold.
No, what's bold is having a presidential memorial with all the presidents' pictures on the hall, and then
hysterical.
Having the sign, the auto pin as the picture for Byron.
Dude, Trump's pettiness knows no bounds.
I love it. I love it.
It's hysterical.
For as much as the Republicans have had to take it, just take the punch and walk, we get Trump that just gives it right back. And I absolutely love how he does it, because it's true. The fact that you had almost 2,000 or 3,000 people auto signed to get out of jail, and there was no vet. There's been a lot of reports that there was no vetting.
Yeah.
And you're like,
the staff was just using it for whatever they wanted.
I'm sorry. I want Trump to be petty. I want him to, because no one's ever going to say anything. The fact that
you can't walk it back at this point.
The Biden administration and those people that were running the country, honestly, which was not the president.
Yeah, the unelected ones.
Is absolutely astonishing, and the Democrats should pay a hefty price for what they did, and they should be doing that now.
Right.
I don't care what anyone says; they need to pay a price for that, and if that means, and they're doing it to themselves. The Democrats are literally falling apart, and to see what's happening around the country and what's happening in Portland and what's happening in shootings and everything else, and you're like, you guys, you're not getting better. You're sticking to it. Why are you talking? Why are you calling him a fascist? Why are you calling him a Nazi? Honestly, what are you doing?
And we'll get into that topic on another show. Correct. Because it's not that black and white, I think, for Republicans as some make it seem. But
we went through our reformation with the Tea Party.
Right.
Democrats have not gone through their reformation, and they're about to go through if they lose midterm, they're going to have to go through some form of reformation to figure this out, who they are. Because I think there's a lot of people, especially now with the government shutdown, that are so far to the left that they're pulling their politicians there, and these guys are going to lose their races coming up. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Well, to kind of wrap up the governor's race topic, on the other side, to not forget that there is another side in Florida. On the Democrat side, we actually have someone who, was, because I haven't talked to him in a long time, but, someone that I'm sure if he were to walk in the door, I'd still consider him a good friend of mine, but former Republican Congressman David Jolly from Pinellas County area. Again, great guy, but he is very much your kind of old school Rockefeller type Republican. He was very much a centrist. He worked in D.C. for a long time, which again, I think lends to that kind of more centrist approach, who has, now put himself out there as the Democratic candidate for the governorship here in Florida. That being said, do I think he has a shot? No. I don't think the Democrat Party knows what to do with him. I don't think anyone who is not a Republican knows what to do with him. And I just don't think that he has the the political clout, to mount the kind of campaign that you're going to need to go up against, who more likely I think will be Byron Donalds. But again, you never know. Money in politics isn't everything, because Charlie Crist had all the money in the world, and he didn't beat Marco Rubio when it came to the Senate race in 2010. So money doesn't always win in politics. Kamala Harris.
Hillary Clinton.
Billions of dollars wasted there, right, on those campaigns. They thought they were going to win. And again, money doesn't buy elections. Not always. Mm-hmm. But I think given the current layout of Florida in terms of the amount of, I think we have an advantage of 2 million voters on the Republican side. I mean, we're probably looking at having a Republican governor for quite a while. And honestly, I mean, look, I don't know about you, but I publicly have been calling it, as I said, for quite a long time. And I hope that Byron Donalds is the next governor of Florida. And so we'll see.
I am excited to see who else is going to jump into the race. I think it's going to be exciting. I don't think anyone should be able to walk into a state or even any election, honestly, just themselves. There
Sure.
needs to be debate. There needs
There will
to be
be.
a
There'll be
conversation.
there'll be other candidates.
I think State Speaker Renner is going to be a good conversation to have. It allows people to be honest and be truthful, to be able to speak.
But it goes back to the Marco Rubio kind of Charlie Crist dynamic.
Yeah.
That you've got someone, okay, great, you're Speaker of the House. Go ask 5 people if they know who the Florida Speaker of the House is.
No one.
Nobody has any idea.
No one.
And so that's the thing that you're going to have to overcome. Marco, when he ran for the Senate in 2010 against Charlie Crist, started polling at 3%.
Correct.
And so, but again, there were a lot of things that led to the momentum that he got, and for him to overcome that and win that campaign.
And that's where I want to see. I want to see where this goes. I want to see how this is. We know Byron Donald. We've seen the ascension and how it's been moving steadily. With the Collins situation, it's not as steady as an ascension, and nor should it be. Because when was the last time we had a lieutenant governor become governor?
Right.
I don't. It probably has happened, but I just don't remember it happening.
No, look, and we've had great lieutenant governors. Shout out to CLC.
Yeah,
you know,
but like I could totally see him parlaying the lieutenant governor into a congressional race.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of seats in this area,
and that's another person again that sadly kind of reached the mountaintop and kind of just fizzled out. I mean, because Carlos Lopez Cantera, just like Jeanette and Nuñez, both lieutenant governors, could have easily continued on.
Correct.
But also to to give them their props, they could have put their egos out front and say, you know what, I'm going to run for that congressional seat and kick out so-and-so, and maybe even won.
Yeah.
But the fact that they didn't take it there, I think says a lot about them. It's just unfortunate because now both of them from Miami, I mean, again, I think would have been great candidates to move on, in some other capacity. And, we've now lost both of them to either corporate America, and now Jeanette Nuñez is president of FIU.
And at the end of the day, you have to also think about the demographics and the geography of Florida. I don't think we've had a governor from North Cuba in a very long time. I don't think we've ever had one.
No.
And so the fact that he's coming out of Naples really does help him.
Yeah.
He's not from South Florida, South Florida. He's from Naples. It's a very good Republican seat. He's a very good Republican individual. It's going to grow in that district even further. Because again, it makes more sense that he's had a lot more time in the spotlight as a congressman than someone that just became lieutenant governor. And that's my issue with this. I think it's moving way too fast, and we're going to move in that direction.
All right. Well, hey, as they say, phone lines are open. So if Lieutenant Governor Collins, Byron knows he has an open seat. Hey, maybe even David Jolly. We'll see. I don't know. I'll reach out to David. I'll see if he'll come on the show. Why not?
I think
he'd say yes.
I don't have an issue with him
because he knows I'm not gonna
we're not gonna
sabotage him.
However, I will ask him to make a phone call for a fundraiser because evidently he hates the fundraise.
Oh my God,
that was.
But how does someone, that's a whole nother conversation. Let's not even go down that road. Thank you, everybody, for watching The Yard Sign. We're so excited to be back. We're happy to have you back. Please like, share, comment. Okay, that's the only way that this show survives, and that's with your help and your support. We are, again, going to be back now every Thursday afternoon, 5 o'clock. If not, make sure to follow us on all of our socials so you can catch it whenever and wherever you'd like to listen to it. On behalf of Enable, David Cabrera, I'm Johnny Torres. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.